Good morning, comic book fans. Welcome back to Comics in 5 Minutes. I'm your no Shorty, and today we're delving back into the wonderful world, which is Al Ewing, with Avengers Incorporated. And before we get too far into it, it has to be said that Al Ewing is a complicated writer for me. I have read some of his stuff, which has absolutely blown my fragile little mind. More recently, just Immortal Thor was spectacular. Immortal Hulk was absolutely brilliant, like a character-defining arc. And he's done small bits and pieces here and there. His Rocket Raccoon was fantastic. He has this ability to absolutely blow my mind and make genuine gosh darn moments when I'm reading his comic books. But he also can put stuff out where I just don't get what he's trying to do, or I find what he's trying to do kind of reductive, or just doesn't really move me in any way. And this is not to say he's a bad writer. When he's at his best, he is one of the best. When he's at his worst, it's not like he's just, Rob Liefeld trying to get a paycheck. He still cares about what he's doing. He still puts effort into it. There's still interesting things happen with form, and he works with cool artists, and he is telling stories which are important. But sometimes it just doesn't work for me personally. And I think what you're going to get from this comic book is going to depend not just on that, but on your thoughts on the genre as well. Because what Avengers Incorporated is a crime drama. And not just a generic crime drama, it is a proper old school whodunit, and I kind of like the idea of that. It's something which, weirdly, even though I'm not a big crime fiction kind of guy, I do enjoy this kind of thing. There's been a Human Target recently, which I've really enjoyed. The big difference between that and this one is pacing, and I think it works in Avengers Incorporated's favour that I think you're more likely to carry on reading after issue 1 because it is a little bit more vibrant. There is definitely a lot of plot going on, but there's less time taken on building up its noir credentials. It is just allowed to be a fun comic book. There are some pretty decent action sequences and some fantastic little characterization going backwards and forwards between the characters. Really well done. The dialogue is fantastic. We get a really nice introduction to some long-standing characters, Janet Van Dyne and the current mayor of New York, Luke Cage, both of which are written sublimely, absolutely perfect, no notes there whatsoever. We get some random background characters working in the, I would say law enforcement, I think it's more carceral system, and they are written pretty much how I expected them to. I'm not surprised that Al Ewing writes these people in the same way that I expect them to. Having met the guy and heard him speak, I feel like he probably has similar opinions to me on how the carceral justice system works. And the fact that I have these opinions and I'm not a big fan of it, you probably get the impression that, yeah, these people do not come across very, very well indeed. But what it is a murder mystery, kind of a lockdown mystery, and the big twist on it really is that the people who got killed weren't actually dead, and that's what leads into a really big superhero or supervillain battle in the prison, and we find out some genuine cool information which is going to make this story as it carries on. And this is all very good, and it is big and it is bold. The action sequences are pretty damn decent, and the pacing of it, as I say, makes me want to carry on going on. But it's the artwork which is a bit of a letdown. Certainly more so than, like, you compare Al Ewing's fantastic writing to this. It is a lower level, but the art is a lot lower. Not entirely, like, there's some nice bits in there. It is perfectly competent. The action sequences are pretty good, but I think it's more of a choice made. And I don't know if this is like Al Ewing describing what this should be, or if it's just an artist deciding on something, but we get told that because of the whole problem with superheroes in New York specifically, but I think in America as well, people can't be out in costume doing stuff without risking being arrested and various other things happening to them. So even though Janet Van Dyne is working for, in a certain capacity, the mayor of New York, Luke Cage, who has the Thunderbolts, she can't be part of that organization, and she cannot wear her costume, or at least a superhero costume. So she's like, oh, that's cool. We've got a cover for this. Jarvis is like, oh, but those are several months old. Style never goes out of fashion. Very cool little backwards and forwards there. But then you see the outfit she's wearing, and you later on find out that it is a synthetic fabric which allows to change shape and form with her, and there's room for wings to come out. So it's all cool, very superhero sci-fi kind of stuff, but it is also a very generic business outfit. And I couldn't help but feel that if you're going to have Janet Van Dyne having to wear something which cannot be a superhero costume, but still allows her to be a superhero, there's room to do something cool with that. And the fact that it didn't was a bit of a letdown. Now, don't get me wrong, I like the fact that they were thinking about this. There was some definite thought put into it, and the fact that it ties into the bigger story of what's happening with superheroes in New York City, and the fact there's an awful lot of actual superhero history in this comic book. Those are things that Al Ewing does really well. If you go back and read his early Immortal Hulk, there's an awful lot of beats in there which are tied into larger continuity issues, but he's really, really good at presenting in such a way that it doesn't bog the story down, and it actually just adds enough information to keep it interesting for you. There's a lot I do like in this one. I wish it had a few more of those gosh darn kind of moments, the things that generally make my eyes light up and my smile widen. I wish the art was a little bit more brave and a little bit more interesting, but I still think it's well worth a look, and if you're into the murder mystery kind of thing, you're going to get a lot from this one. It's going to build up a really cool mystery, I think, and it's going to be worth watching to solve. That's it for me for now, though. I've got a couple of things I want to review this week. Let's see if I can have time. Until then, look after yourself, everyone. Stay safe. Bye!